Vamos, brothers, this is your boy JT, and welcome back to the first ever episode of the International Roundup, or as I like to call it, the Casting Crouch. We are going to be here going through England versus Iran. We're here for every single England game before, after, during, whatever the hell's happening for England. We are going to be here. We're going to be here live streaming tomorrow, so make sure if you are around that you are around for that one. But I am looking forward to this with bated breath. I cannot wait for England to kick off the tournament and really get the World Cup going. I know there was a game today, Qatar versus Ecuador, and it was a decent game. It was good to see the World Cup kick off, but the World Cup hasn't really kicked off. You know, it was a bit of a lethargic game. It was a bit boring. It was a little bit dull at times. The atmosphere wasn't really there. It wasn't really bouncing. But, you know, it's the first game of the tournament. You know, these tournaments take a little bit of time to kick into action. You need to see a couple of good games. I really remember vividly the 2018 World Cup, and it was that Portugal versus Spain, the 3-3, Ronaldo pinging in that beauty of a free kick, top bins. And it was after that game where everyone was like, okay, now the tournament is alive. Now we're talking. Now we're feeling the World Cup fever. And it's going to be a similar thing here, I reckon. I think it's going to take a couple of games. And I think maybe this England-Iran game, definitely at least in this country, could spark some serious love for the tournament. That is being heavily criticised. It has been heavily criticised, and there's a lot of decisions I don't agree with. Most importantly, the most disgraceful thing about this entire tournament, the fact that there is no alcohol. That is criminal, if you ask me. The fact there is no alcohol around the grounds or anything. They vetoed that a couple of days before. Beer and football is synonymous with each other. The fact that you're trying to tell me you can have one without the other, I find absolutely ludicrous. There has to be booze at football. Otherwise, is it really even football? I don't really know. Obviously, only if you are of legal age to drink in whatever country or jurisdiction you reside from. Which I do have to, you know, add that extra part in there because I know there's a few Americans that might even be watching this. You know, there's a few more Americans that watch me ever since, obviously, American invasion into the Premier League and Leeds United. But nonetheless, we are here to talk about England. We're talking about England versus Iran. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot on the line for this one. Because I'm saying if we don't start off this tournament with a bang, we could be in a seriously detrimental situation going into the rest of the tournament because we have America and we have Wales. Two sides that really don't like us. They really don't. I know Wales have been England's whipping boy of recent years, and I also know that America, maybe you could argue there's other teams like Mexico that they could dislike more, but it is England, and I reckon if there's one international team that America are really going to want to beat, it's England. You know, we've given them so much shit for trying to adopt our sport and calling it a different name and all this other stuff. They're not going to want to take this game lightly. So if we don't pick up 3 points against Iran, if we somehow catastrophically lose that game, and then we have to go into the next 2 games requiring 6 points, requiring 2 back-to-back wins, then we're in a bit of a tetchy situation. So we need to start off strong, and we need to start off with a big, fat, juicy dub. Big, fat, juicy dub. Do I think we can get it? Yes. Do I think we will get it? Yes. Do I think we shall get it? Abso-bloody-lutely. Absolutely. There is no excuse for not getting it. I know Iran are not as bad as people are making them out to be. They're ranked 20th in the world. They've been on a good form, a good streak recently. There is also a lot of stuff going on with their government, and in terms of allegedly paying players to play, all this other stuff, which we will not go into, which may have a little bit of an impact on it as well. I was speaking to some Iranian people, a good friend of mine actually from childhood who's Iranian, and he actually said that he's going to be backing England for this one, just because of a lot of stuff that could be going on. Now, will that weigh into the minds? Will that be a positive or a potential negative for them? I don't know, and I'm not here to touch on the specifics, ins and outs of it, because first of all, I'm not the most educated person on it, and furthermore, I can't really speak too much without probably going against certain allegedities or things that are out there. But nonetheless, they are going to be still up for it. It's a major tournament, and Iran are no mugs. They're no mugs. They're no pushovers. And I think if we're going to win anything in this game, we need to keep a clean sheet. We need to start from the back. And for me, I want to start a back four. I want to go with Walker. Walker's not playing, mate. I've lost the plot, mate. Walker is out until at least the third game, I reckon. I believe that's what it is going to be. Maddison is also going to be out before this game. He's going to be out until at least the second game as well. Sorry, I should have touched on that a little bit earlier. But no Maddison and no Walker, who would be probably in a lot of people's first England starting 11. But I want to go 4-2-3-1. In goal, no question, no doubt about it, Jordan Pickford. He does it in the big occasions. He does it for England week in, week out in these major tournaments and in big games, whether it be Nations League or anything else anyway. He is the big man. He needs to start in goal for me. Back to Maguire and Stones. No question about it. I know I've been critical of Maguire in some of the recent England performances, but in the big tournaments, he does the business. He's got us to a semi-final in the World Cup. He got us to a final, including a penalty shootout, including scoring a goal in a quarter-final in which we won 4-0. So, people are very quick to forget these facts, but I am not one of those people. I'm backing him, and if you saw him in training as well, whipping out the old roulette, Ronaldo chopping, skinning people left, right, and centre, Maguire looks like he is ready to rumble in the jungle. So he is going to start for me. Left back, I am going to put Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier is going to have to start left back for me. No Ben Chilwell equals Kieran Trippier back there. Trippier has to be in the back line in some shape or form for me. He's been very good for Newcastle of late, and he has always done the business for Gareth Southgate. Look, at the end of the day, Gareth Southgate's got to pick players that he trusts. It's a big game. It's imperative we start off strong. He needs to pick players that have been there and done it for him before, one of which is Kieran Trippier, who has been impeccable in an England shirt. And our last World Cup, what was he? He was our player of the tournament. And again, people are going to be very quick to forget that. So he's going to have to be shoehorned in at left back for me. And at right back, I am going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Holding two. This is the contentious part for me. Again, you got to go with what's worked before. I think defense is the key for this tournament. I know everyone wants to say, oh, let's open up against teams like Iran. Let's take the game to them. Let's destroy them. I think we can, but I think we also need to be very, very wary of the other end. I think in knockout football, you need to be, I know this is still a group stage, but it's still knockout football at the end of the day in terms of the tournament, and you need to be very, very careful with defensively. You don't want to be conceding a lot of goals, because the team that concedes the least are usually the team that wins the tournament. Look at Portugal in the Euros, look at England in the last Euros, Italy as well, getting to the final. We need to keep a clean sheet. So for me, the two shielding the four is going to be Phillips and Declan Rice. I know people are like, oh, Phillips has barely played. He's played a minute of Premier League football. Does he deserve to play? Yeah, damn right he does, because he is the best midfielder in the tournament. No doubt about it. His partnership with Declan Rice is beautiful. And in front of them, Jude Bellingham. I want to see him in the 10. I want to see him just in front of the other two. You can either put him in a 10, you can put him in an 8. Depends if you want to go 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I would like to put him further up in a 10. I think he can play that role. He's played a lot more offensively in a lot of games for Dortmund, more specifically against Man City. And he's done very well there. He's very good at breaking the lines, like a Frank Lampard-esque kind of player. So I put him just ahead of those two, either in an 8 or a 10, however you want to play him. Then on the right-hand side, no Maddison, so I am going to go with Phil Foden. Left-hand side, Raheem the Dream Sterling. You can switch them over if you want, depends which way you want it. Foden's played on the left quite a bit, so you know what, actually I probably would switch it over. Raz on the right, Foden on the left, and then up front, I'm going to go for Haroldinho McCain the third. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my starting 11? Do you agree with the formation? I really want to know who you guys would be playing going into this game and what your thoughts are on the tournament as a whole and on England's chances, or whoever you're backing. Who do you support? Who are you backing? Let me know all down in the comment section down below. But for now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Out of my brothers and my sisters.